All right, this is a real quick video. It might even be outdated by the time you see this or by the time I finish it, but this is ridiculous, guys. Like, come on, you gotta be kidding me. Like, look at this. This is fan fiction. This isn't gonna happen. Cedar Fair. Come on, you're kidding, right? So I'm gonna go through this real quick and tell you why I don't think this will happen, and we should all hope that this isn't gonna happen. Now, what I'm referring to here is the proposition that SeaWorld will buy out Cedar Fair and completely run all of their parks for $3.4 billion. First, let's start with the obvious. If SeaWorld bought out Cedar Fair, this would be pretty close to a monopoly. It wouldn't quite be there to the point that it wouldn't be allowed legally, but it would get close enough to the point that we as consumers would suffer. And this is what I was saying as to why we wouldn't want this to go down. Think of Busch Gardens Williamsburg and Kings Dominion. These parks are an hour away from each other, and they base their additions on what the other park doesn't have and has. Kings Dominion has a Giga and an RMC, but removed their Star launch coaster, so what does BGW do? They built a multi-launch coaster by the exact same manufacturer Volcano used to be. Kings Dominion needed a launch coaster, and a Skyrocket 2 would have been really good, but since BGW already has a Skyrocket 2, they had to settle for a different clone with a free spin. I guarantee you, if these two parks became run by the same company, both of them would suffer. BGW wouldn't be getting the All-Star editions that it's been getting, and Kings Dominion would go for more cloned rides because they no longer needed to prove themselves. Cedar Fair would just control the entirety of Virginia. God damn it, I hate that name so much. It just feels yucky rolling off the tongue. It's too corny. Anyways, if this acquisition went through, then we would definitely not be seeing huge additions every year. You can kiss those Gigas goodbye, because now the only competition is Six Flags, and ain't no way that Six Flags is building a Giga. So Cedar Fair, god damn it, Cedar Fair wouldn't really need to build any more Gigas because there's no one else going to be even challenging that. We'd probably see a lot more dive coasters because it seems like SeaWorld likes those a lot. Maybe we might even see some more Intamins though, which would be a nice plus, but overall it would just decrease in the quality and size of additions. Honestly, if this happened, I could see them regressing into the old Six Flags approach where it's quality over quantity. I don't think it would get that bad that it would literally be like every single park every year got something very small, and then the biggest addition was a friggin' RMC Raptor. But with so many parks, they can't really afford to just give big additions to 3 or 4. Like they'll literally never get through all of them. And plus, like I was saying before, with the lack of competition, nothing would really be motivating them to be investing big anyways. I also think we'd lose Kings Dominion. I was talking about this before, how they would at least slow down the investments, but honestly, I could see them just throwing in the towel altogether. I feel like they just move a couple of rides out like Dominator and call it a day. I mean, they've moved Dominator before, they can do it again. Twisted Timbers would have to be left behind unless they somehow managed to transport a wooden coaster, but I don't think that's like possible. But they could just clone it at Carowin, so it wouldn't really be that big of a deal. I don't know what they would really do with I-305, but with a coaster that big, I feel like they at least attempt to move it. And the rest of the lineup is pretty take it or leave it, so it doesn't matter, they'd probably just leave it. But why would KD close down? Well, it's only an hour away from the current flagship SeaWorld park, like I said. It's kind of like how Giago Lake closed, so it didn't compete with Cedar Point. This also isn't too far off from Sesame Place either, which, yeah, while it is a very different park, it still has pretty good attendance, about 1.2 million a year, which honestly isn't that far off from Kings Dominions. But obviously BGW eats that up with 2.8 million a year. So Kings Dominion is kind of just the awkward middle child, not really catering to families, but also doesn't have the best coaster lineup in the state, so what is the point of keeping it around? I could see this on the chopping block pretty fast. This would also just damage that SeaWorld quality. There's no way they're going to be able to keep all these parks up to snuff. Like, you can't tell me in a matter of years we'll have Worlds of Fun looking like SeaWorld Orlando. That's just not possible. And also, how would Cedar Point fit into all of this? That park is so iconic for literally being exactly what it is. So if they tried to put in animal shows or animal themed rides or any water attractions, it would just lose that Cedar Point magic. So we'd be getting a bunch of small additions, a lesser SeaWorld park quality, a chain dangerously close to a monopoly, and we'd probably lose a legacy park in the crossfire. That sounds like it sucks, but do not fret, ladies and gentlemen. I'm here to tell you that this will not happen. I will be stunned if this actually goes through. Shooketh, kerfuffled, perplexed. First of all, Cedar Fair is doing pretty good as of right now. 2021 was a pretty strong year for all theme parks, but Cedar Fair seemed particularly strong. There was the whole Cedar Point raising their fast lane prices because attendance got so high like in the middle of the year. And then there was the rumor of the Giga at Knott's, which obviously means they're not doing that bad. I just don't see why Cedar Fair would think that now is the right time to be bought out right after they've recovered from the pandemic, because if you'll remember, a couple of years ago, Six Flags tried to buy out both SeaWorld and Cedar Fair. After failing to buy out SeaWorld, they set their sights on the bigger fish. See what I did there? Fish? Yeah, whatever. And do you know how much they offered up to buy for? $4 billion. That's $600 million more dollars than SeaWorld is offering now, and yet people are still entertaining this as an option. And yeah, they could say, well, Cedar Fair knows that SeaWorld will be a better company to run that. No, that's not how business works. All they're thinking about is cold, hard cash. So yeah, this probably won't end up actually going through, and by the off chance it does somehow squeak through the cracks, that's not something we should be happy about. Well, it would be cool to see Intamins again, and only needing one season pass, it's just not worth it for the long run for anyone except the corporations. Thank you all so much for watching. I know this was a shorter video that was kind of all over the place, but I did want to just touch on this real quick before it fell into irrelevance. I will see you all next time.